making chili con carne, which is my sister's chili recipe. I am sauteing the onions, celery, and garlic right now until the celery is clear and tender. So we've got one yellow onion the size of a baseball, 4 to 5 celery stalks, which I did 4 because they were really big, 3 cloves of garlic, a can of dark red kidney beans, a can of Great Northern beans, which I rinsed and drained and then sort of put in the blender, kinda, a little bit, not really. And then 4 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons ground cumin, 1 teaspoon Mrs. Dash extra spicy, 1 teaspoon dried oregano, and 1 teaspoon salt, along celery and garlic. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm just trying to saute this without burning it and without taking a year and a half to do it. Alright, so I'm going to pause here. It does smell fantastic. Sauteing the onion, celery, and garlic smells fantastic. This is getting there. I can see what they mean by clear and tender. Probably just a couple more minutes. I'm going to turn it down a touch because I think the edges are starting to fry. So I'll turn it down to a touch and then let it go a little bit longer, see if I can get them a little softer. So when I come back, I don't have any mice in my pocket. I cleared a circle in the middle and it says to add the ground beef. And again, we know that one of the sausages that I got is not in the link, so I'm going to add that in with the ground beef and cook them at the same time. Alright, here we go. That's the ground beef. I'm just kind of cutting it up a little bit in there. You might be able to see a little bit, I guess. Camera button on my phone covers it up, but hopefully on your end you can see it. Okay. So now I'm going to grab the sausage. Alright, so I'm going to cut all that up. Obviously that's a lot of meat, so the little hole that I made in the middle of the vegetables, like the vegetables are going up the side of the pan as I cut up the meat in there, but I suppose it's probably okay. Alright, I'm going to let that up a little bit. It's a lot of meat. I think it's cooling everything down, so I turned it up a little bit to compensate. Okay. Now I can hear it like bubbling, like it's cooking the meat, but I don't want to burn the vegetables. A thin layer that's starting to brown on the bottom of the meat, so I'll kind of turn that over, and with it a tiny amount of vegetables is coming, and so that's good. And by vegetables I mean onions, garlic, and celery. Sauteing in here before we have any meat. so it's not brown yet, so I guess I keep going. And now the onions and garlic and celery are all pretty much combined with all the meat in here. Kind of looks like goulash without any pasta right now. I'm going to turn it up again because I still just don't think it's hot enough after I throw that meat in there. Okay, I think the meat is browned. There are tiny little like edges that are starting to like get crispy, so I think we're good. So I'm gonna add the sausage now. Okay, so got the sausage in. I'm just kind of spreading it out. Okay, I'm gonna cover. Alexa, set a timer for 4 minutes. And I put one of the can of tomatoes in with the beans. So I'm going to do the other tomato. Alright, I'll see you back in a couple minutes. Okay, it's not done. It's raw. I'm going to stir it in. Hi Gusta. I smell the fennel. It smells good. Okay. Most of the casings are taut. I'm going to close the door and double check I don't see anything else pink. Alright. Casings are taut. Meat is brown. Juices are pink. Now we're going to add some tomato and some spices. Tomato puree and all the spices that I mixed up with all those juices that I said were down at the bottom. Combining all the ingredients thus far. Now changing to a more reddish color from the tomato puree. And it smells entirely different with all the spices added in. Doesn't necessarily smell like chili yet, but it smells flavorful. Bring to a medium boil, which it already is, and add all the beans, stirring carefully. Alright, so now here's where, if you remember, I mixed the white beans and the dark red kidney beans with the diced tomatoes, and I blended them a little bit because I don't like chunky food. There's going to be some chunk, but maybe not as much chunk from this, and then the chili beans that are in the chili sauce I did not blend, so those will be whole. So it wasn't a perfect plan, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Alright, so this is the tomato and bean blend. And it is kind of boiling a little bit. Now the biggest chunks are the sausage. links that I cut up about the size of my thumb. Okay, so this is looking more like chili. Then I add in this other can of beans, and this is the beans and chili sauce. It's not just a kidney bean in liquid. There's a chili sauce involved. So those I did not blend. So those will kind of be in between the chunks of sausage and everything else. So I'm just kind of blending that all in because it kind of came out in one lump bean mass. Okay, now add half a can of beer and simmer, medium-low, occasional bubble for an hour, adding beer as needed to keep from getting too thick. All right. So, of course, I have a can of Bud Light here because nobody drinks Bud Light. So, it tends to stick around forever. Alright, let's see if I can get it open. Wow. Interesting. That did it. Got it. Alright. So I'm going to add some. Okay. That's probably half or so. What you doing, Besta? Okay. Simmer, medium low. Should have an occasional bubble for an hour. Adding beer as needed to keep from getting too thick. Alright. I hope you can see that. It looks pretty good. If I may say so myself. Okay, so I'll see you in an hour. I added the second half of the can of beer, and it was still, I mean, it was simmering, but it was simmering more than an occasional bubble. So I added the second half can of beer. Now I'm waiting for it to heat back up, and we'll go from there. I'm so glad I blended those beans, because now it's not overwhelming beans. There's just an occasional chili bean. If you like chili with a little bit of bite to it, you know, a little bit of, that's some good chili. Not like the bland that goes on a chili dog, but the, you know, chili with sour cream and, you know, got a little bit of bite. Yeah. By the campfire chili. Okay, I'll taste a piece of sausage. Oh, it'd be good with a baguette and some apples. It's good by itself too. As you can see, I can't put the spoon down.